welcome to this presentation on ICT, or Information Communication and Technology, in 21st century learning. The use of ICT is a key factor in 21st century learning and teaching. Why is this so? Development in technology has and continues to happen at a rapid rate. It stands to reason that education needs to keep up with the technology changes by incorporating them in their classes and their programs so that students learn the skills they need to function in life. Trilling and Faddle suggest that one of education's chief roles is to prepare future workers and citizens to deal with the challenges of their times. Knowledge work, the kind of work that most people will need in the coming decades, can be done anywhere by anyone who has the expertise and a cell phone or a laptop and an internet connection. But to have expert knowledge workers, every country needs an education system that produces them. Therefore, education becomes the key to economic survival in the 21st century. To address this issue, the Partnership for 21st Century Skills, or the P21, was formed and the P21 framework was created to guide educators in 21st century learning. The P21 framework suggests that within the context of core knowledge instruction, students must also learn the skills for success in today's world, such as critical thinking, problem solving, communication and collaboration. Similarly, Lonsdale and Anderson point out that in addition to teaching subject content, schools are expected to develop young people who are information and media literate, critical thinkers and problem solvers, communicators and team players. Social and emotional learning, or SEL, is also an important concept to consider in 21st century learning and teaching. Ingleton says that learning environments are social environments, and learners are highly complex beings whose emotions interact with their learning in powerful ways. Further to this, Gerlach, Wiesberg, Dimnicki, Taylor and Schellinger cite Alias, who defined SEL as the process of acquiring core competencies to recognise and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, appreciate the perspectives of others, establish and maintain positive relationships, making responsible decisions, and handle interpersonal situations constructively. They talk about specific SEL programming in schools to help develop students with these attributes so that they grow towards the maturity needed to cope with the life situations during and after their schooling. It is believed that students who achieve this engage of their own accord in the learning process. It is important to note that 21st century learning supports and builds on the learning theories of constructivism and connectivism. In constructivism, the learner is an information constructor. New information is linked to prior knowledge. Key cites Mayer's 5 ingredients for a constructivist classroom. These are personal constructions of reality, simulated authentic learning environments, multiple representations of data, active learning and collaboration. In connectivism, the starting point for learning occurs when knowledge is actuated through the process of a learner connecting to and feeding information into a learning community. So how do all these points combine and play out in a classroom situation? It involves the creating of a rich environment of learning, fostered through activities that the P21 suggests imitates real-world 21st century contexts through project-based and other applied work. Further, the concept of a flipped classroom, if implemented well, will effectively engender students with these real-world skills. According to the University of Queensland, or UQ, in a flipped classroom, students gain first exposure to new materials outside the classroom, in the form of a DVD or an internet page, article or a reading. After which the class explores the information either in a group or individually and are then given the opportunity to apply what they have learned through an activity such as a project, experiment or a role play. EDUC also suggests that this model of teaching promotes learning through facilitation by the teacher rather than lecturing, and it is posited that students take more responsibility for their own learning. They further explain that the flipped classroom provides opportunity for the teacher to engage, guide, correct and give feedback to students. It is evident that this sort of activity teaches and gives students the chance to learn skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, communication and collaboration discussed earlier in this paper. Clearly, ICT comes into play as a stimulating platform to engage students in learning these skills. Australia has embraced the concept of the 21st century learning process with technology by creating the ICT capabilities as part of the Australian curriculum. They list 5 elements to this ICT capability. Number 1, applying social and ethical protocols and practices when using ICT. And this incorporates recognising intellectual property, applying digital information security practices, applying personal security protocols, identifying the impacts of ICT in society. Number 2 is investigating with ICT. They learn to define and plan information searches, locate, generate and access data and information, select and evaluate data and information. The third element is creating with ICT. In this they generate ideas, plans and processes. They also generate solutions for challenges and learning area tasks. Element 4 is communicating with ICT, where they learn to collaborate, share and exchange, understand computer-mediated communications. And lastly, the 5th element is managing and operating with ICT, where they select and use hardware and software. They learn to understand ICT systems and manage digital data. So what technologies are currently used in the classroom to support the ICT capabilities? Hardware or equipment such as iPods, iPads, laptops or slimline computers and smartboards, all with access to the World Wide Web of information and the capability of communicating with others. These are all being used to teach social, ethical protocols as well as managing and operating ICT capabilities. Other ICT forms are things such as search engines like Google, are wonderful tools that can be used in lessons for research and investigating. After the research or investigating is done, students can use the information they have found to share and discuss via an online forum called a blog with the rest of the class or alternatively with the community online. The information could also be created into a podcast, which is an audio recording, or alternatively a vodcast, which is a video recording, to upload to a website such as YouTube for sharing, therefore fulfilling the creating and communicating ICT capabilities. According to Mayer Payne Smart, when used educationally, podcasts can empower students and teachers to become content producers rather than content consumers, and they give them audiences beyond the classroom. To develop collaboration skills, a wiki, which is essentially an online page where more than one student can add and change, could be set up for group work on a program. Additionally, programs or apps such as Skype allow video link-up with industry specialists to discuss and share expertise and information with the class, bringing in the real-world experience. Smartboard is becoming more popular in classrooms by teacher use. It is like an interactive whiteboard that allows the teacher to present lessons and listing interaction from students by moving, drawing or erasing data on the board. It allows lessons to be recorded, which can be played back for revision at a later date. Similarly, a hard copy can also be printed for students to keep in their workbooks or for revision at a later date. A classroom website with secured access by the teacher and the students and possibly parents is a great place to house all of these communication technologies and student contributions for access at a later time. These are just some of the many examples of ICT that can be used in the classroom. In conclusion, The use of ICT in the classroom is an effective tool in 21st century learning. In a practical way, it supports the learning theories of constructivism and connectivism, along with the concept of the flipped classroom and social and emotional learning, with the combined goal to teach students analytical thinking, problem solving, collaboration and communication skills to prepare them for life beyond their education. Thank you for listening to this presentation.